Welcome back to FaithWorks TV and Living My Faith. Joining me today is two great community leaders that are practicing faith in their companies. We have Pastor Spike Hogan from Chets Creek, as well as One More Child, and James Fenimore from Heart Posture Collective. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So you have been doing a whole lot of work the last 20 years in Jacksonville.
That's right. 27 years.
27 years. So give us a little bit of your background and how you got into starting Chets Creek Church.
Well, I came to Jacksonville, Florida to work with a state Baptist organization, the Florida Baptist Convention. And I worked with churches all over the state of Florida. And during that time, I felt led to get back into a local church, and a group of friends invited me to help them start Chets Creek Church, basically. So 27 years ago, we started Chets Creek Church with 31 people and grew to a church of about 3,000 over that time. And we've had 5 different campuses, 3 now, 2 have split off to become their own church. But very involved in missions and ministry for all those years.
And your footprint has grown as well. So off Hodges campus, you've added in a school as well as seems to really expand.
Yeah, well, not a school exactly, but we do have a South Side campus in a very international part of Jacksonville. And then down in Palm Valley, we have a new campus we started several years ago. And then we started a campus down in Nocatee, and now they're their own church, River Rock Church. And up on the north side near the airport, now they're their own church, North Harbor Church. And so that's been our goal, is not to plant campuses and hold them, but to grow them to the point where they can be self-supported on their own.
Something that I learned after speaking with you today coming in, Jacksonville is very diverse.
Jacksonville actually is one of the most diverse cities in America. We were a city of refuge for a number of years, Mike, and there's somewhere near 130 different nationalities represented in Jacksonville, because during the time that Jacksonville received immigrants all over the world because of political or military pressure, we had many nations come in from Burmese, Cambodian, Vietnamese, countries you've never even heard of before. And so we're actually, as far as people groups, more diverse than any place in Florida. And it's a unique opportunity and a problem, because you have kids going to school that don't speak English. Their parents may never speak English. And so trying to reach and make a difference in people's lives is our priority.
It's amazing. And joining us, as always, James, tell me about Heart Posture Collective and how you impact our community.
Sure. Heart Posture Collective is an online community. It's a coaching community, but it's faith-based. What we do is we focus on God first instead of self first. Most coaching, it's self-help, self-reliance, determination, and Pastor, I'm sure that's a recipe for disaster. So we lead with God. So it's people that, if they have some life issues, if they're looking at to transition from, or career issues, but we're really just a community of people that want to get closer to God. And it's people that might not have, a church in their area that they're comfortable going to. It's people that just want more fellowship, or it's people that are really focused on coaching and just improving their life. So it offers all these cool different aspects of it, and we built it so that it's so robust that you don't need to do everything. If you want just the fellowship's there. If you want just the coaching is there. And it's all online, theheartposturecollective.com, and it's just an amazing group of people all putting God first.
Well, what's interesting, even if you look at from planting a church 20 plus years ago to growing an audience of 3,000 people to Trisha's social media, how many Instagram followers?
Instagram, she's at 200,000. Facebook, she's at like 430,000.
Now, so the community, why are they following her?
So, well, she gives what she calls 1-minute sermons. Now, she'll be the first to admit sometimes they go about 6 or 7 minutes, but like any good pastor, right? But she really just speaks from the heart. It speaks to what she's experienced through life. She was an atheist, found God through a lot of trials and tribulation, and she just fell in love with Christ, and she just wants to share the message. She went to seminary school. She didn't finish it. She'll be, again, first to admit that. But what she found there was a passion for sharing the word and just sharing.
But it's connecting those pieces together. So from building a community to make a difference and get a message out there. So talking about the One More Child, from Chets Creek to launching this campaign or this vision and this community. Tell me about One More Child.
Sure. One More Child is an international organization. It started out over 100 years ago as the Florida Baptist Children's Home, which was just an orphanage, okay? And about 20 years ago, they changed their focus from just foster care to really what I call the faces of One More Child: foster care, anti-sex trafficking, child hunger, equipping struggling families, single moms. And so what they've discovered is that the greatest way to help a child that has been taken from a home or abandoned is to do holistic care. And so we do all of these things together. I'm on the board of Trustees of One More Child. We're in 19 countries. We're in 29 different states. And we have 4 compassion centers across the state. Just finished building the one in Jacksonville that'll open this spring. 25,000 square feet. It'll serve millions of meals a year, literally. And things like backpack programs for kids to take food home on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so they don't have any food. Single moms homes that we'll be building starting the first of next year, where moms can live there for a short amount of time, a year to 18 months, to help them get on their feet, to save money, a place they can stay where they can be counseled and education brought up to snuff, like GEDs or training, where they can get a job and provide for their families and not be dependent on parents or grandparents or the community, really. And so this is some of the things that we do.
What makes Jacksonville special and unique in this?
Well, this compassion center is the furthest north that we're going to be building.
And I'm going to kind of put this up. So this is actually built, correct?
It's now built.
In Jacksonville.
Right.
And this is the 25,000 square feet.
Correct.
And then you are also building, tell me about these.
These are single mom homes. And so what we discovered was when a single mom so many times live on a couch, basically, with some grandparent or a friend or whatever with kids, they've been abandoned, they maybe their relationship with the father is not there anymore. And they're in a difficult place. And so the Bible says we're called to take care of the widows and the orphans as a high priority. And so we discovered if we can get a single mom in a home that's stable, get them trained, because it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle, 3, 4, 5 generations. And they realize they can save money and they can make it on their own. And so they're required to save 30% of their income. We help them get training, help them get a job. With some other partners, sometimes help them get transportation. By the time that year to 18 months is up, they have enough money set aside and saved to have a place to go, to move into a place to live, to have a job. They discovered they can make it. And we've seen an 80% success rate with these moms in the single moms homes we have in Lakeland and Sarasota, Miami area. We have a few in Jacksonville, but we're going to build somewhere close to 20 of these single mom duplexes where we can have a place for these ladies to stay and grow and develop and be able to take care of the family.
So how would you utilize a support group online? There's many people out there that have a following. How would you harness their audience to get them to engage in a project like yours?
Well, one of the cool things is you cannot give out 1 million meals unless you have a lot of volunteers. This is a large organization, but like any nonprofit, One More Child is dependent on gifts in kind, and volunteers. And so every day we'll have people there that'll be filling grocery bags, meeting needs, meeting with people, and meeting those needs, number one. And we could do this without all the partners we have across the country that deliver food to us and those kind of things. Second thing is that people want to give and support this ministry. Every compassion center across the state has a named person, someone who made a large donation because they believe in the ministry, but also their name's on the building. Single Moms Homes, the first donation was given from a member of our church. They made a $250,000 donation in honor of a niece who died unexpectedly that ultimately led their family to Christ. And so we're looking for those who would sponsor one of these single moms, at least one side or both homes, and looking for business leaders and all that are looking for something that can really make a difference. Because, in Jacksonville, as you mentioned earlier, it's a big city, but it's a small community. And these guys are being bombarded day in and day out with great ideas, but we can prove and show the difference we're making in people's lives through our track record and through our history. And we want to do in Jacksonville what we're doing in these other cities across the state.
What have you both seen, starting with you, James, with volunteerism? So 20 plus years ago, people joined a Rotary Club, Mennonite, an organization to volunteer. What are you seeing with the groups that still go to a mission house, City Rescue Mission, or volunteer with One More Child?
Sure. So when I see volunteers, really what you said, I think, is so eloquent, because people want to know that their time is being used efficiently and well. You know, I could tell you, when I lived in New York during Hurricane Sandy, nothing drove me crazy than volunteering, because we were just picking stuff up and moving it from one place to another place. We weren't doing anything because there was no organization. But when you have something like this with the proof in the pudding and the numbers to prove it, man, I mean, that is wonderful. I know volunteers love that, because they know what their hard-earned dollars and their effort is going to go to something that's going to actually do good in the world. And I think that's so important when you have that social credibility and the actual numbers to prove it.
Right.
What have you seen within your church community in terms of how people volunteer nowadays and the types of activities?
You know, one of the concerns I have, Mike, is that as this generation that I'm in and older dies off, trying to get the 30, 40, 50-something-year-old people to understand the importance of volunteerism. Honestly, it's we've almost created a me society in some ways. I don't mean to be that old guy, complaining, because I was that young guy one time and the older guy was talking about me. But I think it's important to understand that we're put on this earth for a reason and a purpose, and we can make a difference in people's lives by just giving some time away and sometimes money to make a real difference. And I think, I'll give an example. Our church, we're big on community service. We will give out close to 1,000 Thanksgiving bags this next week across the city to people that can't afford it. We've done this for years. We pay for all of the Christmas gifts of the foster kids at Wilmore Child Support's about 80. We provide about 80 Christmases for these kids. We support so many other causes around the world, because you just can't outgive God, number one. Number two, but God blesses the cheerful giver, the Bible says. So we take advantage of that. We seriously mean it. We provide school for 125 kids in South Africa every year who can't go to school because they don't have a uniform, they don't have shoes, they don't have a backpack. In South Africa, if you don't have those things, you don't get to go to school. So how are they going to get it if they have no money? So we do that. So we just have made giving and serving in the name of Christ a high priority. And I just got to tell you, God honors that. God blesses that.
It's amazing. You get a lot more in return when you give. Actually, I have a big favor. I've noticed something sitting here.
What?
Your bracelet.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm curious. It says, "I love my wife."
Correct.
I would love to make a $500 donation to One More Child if I could get that off of you.
You can do it right now.
Look at that. That's a nice break, brothers. No, all right. I am earning points today. All right. And it was amazing is hearing too in the sermons. It's about loving the wife, and
Right.
this is perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you for everything you have done, being a catalyst for our community and many others. The organization that you have built, the church. I know every time I meet somebody that goes to Chets Creek, I've been to many of your sermons, and they're very inspiring. So thank you for being a great trustee.
To wait during my sermons is a lot. It's not always, right?
It was amazing. And James, as always, thank you for what you do in your outreach, and we appreciate you being on Living My Faith.
No pleasure. Thank you.
To find out more about all the great things that you can do to support One More Child, visit us at livingmyfaith.com. We'll see you next time on FaithWorks TV.